Orchids are prized for their exotic flowers of almost every conceivable shape, size, and color. They're so different from other plants that a lot of times people are intimidated by the thought of trying to grow them in their homes. This is especially true when it comes time for repotting, but it's really not that difficult. And as you're about to see, we just follow a few simple steps and techniques to assure us of being successful. Orchids are typically repotted about once every 1 to 2 years to replace deteriorating, decomposing potting media. Or if they become overgrown or they're not blooming and performing well, that may also be a good time to repot. It's best if we try to do this immediately after their bloom cycle and avoid disturbing the plant as it's forming buds or while it's blooming. There are many different types of orchids, and most of them are epiphytes. This means that they grow up in tree branches and rock crevices, not down in the soil. They absorb their water and minerals directly through these aerial roots and the detritus that accumulates there. So these orchids are grown in various mixes of bark, sponge rock, and moss with very good drainage. Many of our customers have been successful with a combination of about 25% sphagnum moss and 75% phalaenopsis mix. Either way, good drainage is paramount to success with orchids, and matching the right media to the right plant is important. You also need a pot that's one size larger than the existing container. It can be any type of pot as long as it has drainage. There are even special orchid pots that have openings in the side for enhanced drainage and aeration. Orchids are always placed in pots that look a little too small for them. This practice of squeezing the roots actually promotes better flowering. Orchid mix is very dry when it first comes out of the bag, so it's important that it gets pre-moistened by soaking in water for a few hours prior to use. This washes out some of the fine debris and dust particles and makes it much easier to work with. To prepare your orchid for repotting, first we're going to take it out of the existing container and then carefully remove the old media without damaging or injuring the roots. Sometimes it makes it a little easier if you can soak this in a pot of water. After the old media has been removed, take scissors and we're just going to cut away any rotten roots, any old leaves, any past flower stems. Then we're going to take this healthy plant, position it in the new pot so that the crown sits right level at the top. And then we'll start refilling or putting the fresh media in place. Now your orchid is ready to place in a bright, indirect light where it will thrive, bloom, and give you years of enjoyment.